La da da da, la da da da. Give me one moment and I'll be right with you. I'm setting up this broadcast, this broadcast, so we can go live. And I really need to have a theme song. That's what I need. I need a theme song. I'm gonna have a theme song for something. I'm telling you, you're telling me, it's gonna be absolutely wonderful. All right, and super. Going and does that. Oh, I might want to turn on. Boom! Awesome. Okay, super fantastic. Wonderful. What else am I forgetting? I know I've already started on YouTube, and here we are on Facebook. So wonderful. I need to send out my links. That's the number one thing that you have to do. And it's funny, too. It is funny. So starting these live broadcasts. Yes. Okay. I don't know if it started then, but let me go ahead and I'm going to send out my links and then we'll get started. So it'll be fantastic. Dum, 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 dum. And I don't send them out to everyone as I used to, but here we go. Fantastic, wonderful, and welcome to Health and Wellness with Jeremiah Callihan and Red Nose Wellness. I am Jeremiah Callihan. I am your host, Jeremiah Callihan, with Red Nose Wellness. I'm an intervention specialist, a health and wellness coach, a parenting education specialist, and a CPR and first aid instructor, which today, being Tuesday, is actually going to be on the topic of health and wellness of the 8 dimensions of wellness. Now, it's funny because every time I ever heard someone talk about health and wellness and the dimensions of health and wellness, I've been very dissatisfied with the way that they present it. Now, there's certain reasons people present things certain ways. A lot of the times there's one or another area of health and wellness that they like to focus on. I actually do like to focus on all 8, and I am a firm believer that if you focus on all 8 of the dimensions, that you will live a fulfilling and happy, wonderful freaking life. Jeremiah, get to it. Okay, fine, because you're asking me to. What are the 8 dimensions of wellness? Now, I'm not going to give you the list yet. You could Google it, but don't, because 8 dimensions first start with emotional wellness. Now, I know that my camera kind of sucks, so I'm going to still read it to you. And if you're on Facebook or maybe it's YouTube, it's reversed. I'm going to have to fix that later. Emotional wellness is coping effectively with life and creating satisfying relationships, which is funny because if you can see, there's these little eggs with all these little emotions. And we're all this, internally, we're this very fragile, complex human being. And it's funny because we don't give each other the decency or the care or the love that we should, realizing that we're complex. We're full of emotions. We have all these life experiences and things that have happened to us individually that there's a lot that goes into us. So health and wellness really check yourself before you wreck yourself. Specifically on the emotional wellness of how are you internally? Perhaps have you talked to a therapist? I am not a therapist, but I am the first to refer you to some really great networking of therapists that I know. If you're like, yeah, maybe I do need to talk to someone and I need to process some things with them. I'm a very big contender of going, oh my goodness, psychologytoday.com. Let's find you someone, because it is important to sometimes you have to talk it out. And if not a therapist, then maybe a friend or maybe family, maybe a mentor, maybe a stranger on the bus. Who knows? I don't care. But a lot of the times we have this emotional wellness irregulation of where we don't actually effectively cope with life and feeling satisfied in our relationships. So, emotional wellness. Number 2, spot up. Yes, we've got spiritual wellness. Now, like I said before, don't mind this line. I should have taken it out. That's the next one. So stop looking. No. Spiritual wellness is developing a sense of connection and belonging. Now, a lot of the times whenever you hear spiritual or anything spirituality, then the first thing we pop to is religion, which, don't get me wrong, there's spirituality in religion, but religion and spirituality could be the two separate things. Spiritual is, I feel spiritual within myself right now in seeing a red cardinal and feeling like it's my daughter that's coming to give me a sign that, or it could be me meditating. It could be me taking a walk on the beach. It could be me finding solace in Jesus, Gandhi, Buddha, Muhammad, who knows, who cares, just that religious leader. It can be taking a walk in nature. It can be burning sage, but it's developing that sense of connection and belonging within oneself. That'd be the topic of spiritual wellness, which I think there is a place for everything. And it's funny too, because I actually try to find like the main religions and a symbol that kind of symbolic. I almost went with the coexist sticker, if you've ever seen those coexist stickers, but I was like, nah, because you have religions throughout the world. And it's funny too, because we also have to interconnect with each other throughout the world. And a lot of the times, we don't know how to interact with someone if someone has a different belief system than us or has a different spiritual wellness regimen. Sometimes people find a lot of solace in going to church. Like that's their spirituality. And sometimes people find their spirituality of different avenues. Third up, like I said, don't read that last one because I accidentally did take it out of the slide. Intellectual wellness. Now, intellectual wellness is engaging in lifelong learning and personal growth. I love books. I can actually pick up a book and I can read maybe the first chapter, the first line, and it engages thought into my head. And whenever I have that thought engaged, it's like there's something to it. There is, and it could be a topic of biology or of political spectrums or environmental spectrums. I have a hard time reading fiction, but that does not mean you cannot read fiction and not fulfill your intellectual wellness. Now, it's also very ironic that people will go hand in hand and say, well, if you're reading fiction, then it's not intelligent, which is not true. Because someone can read Lord of the Rings and it really develops the cranium, man, of helping them expand their intellectual wellness. Now, it's funny too, because you look at kind of the background, there's the one with it's on a shelf. It says, think before you speak, read before you think. Sometimes you need to keep your mind still, and you do have to incorporate some intellectual wellness of shut up and read something. Shut up and learn something. That's funny. While I'm talking to you, I have my little red nose that I'm like fidgeting with because I am excited talking about all these different dimensions of wellness. I also have been on a little bit of a time crunch, which is ironic because talk about wellness. And I thought about incorporating the time crunch into talking to you about health and wellness, because it's sometimes good to rush and sometimes it's not the best to rush. But I'll get to that in a second, I promise. Next on the list, you've guessed it, boom! Emotional, environmental wellness. You've got creating a safe and supportive living and working environment. What works best for you in your environment, in your surroundings, in your community? Making sure your environment as well is that nature nurture. You have the emotional of the nurture, but the nature of your surroundings is creating a safe and supportive living and working environments. How can you find that balance within itself? How can you find balance with going, okay, this works for me. I wake up in the morning, I have this routine, I know where things are, I know what traffic is going to be like, I know what going to work is going to be like, I know what to expect, and I am okay with it. See, there's a big point of making sure that the surroundings around us are doing well. And if it's doing well and we internally are feeling well because we're meeting our intellectual wellness and we're meeting our emotional wellness, things start kind of going together. Because it starts taking away that anxiety. I don't feel like my regular routine is going to be disrupted and disrupted. After environmental wellness, you got physical wellness. Pump up the brakes. Pump up the brakes. You're like, Jeremiah, my God, you don't look like you've really put this one into consideration. Hey, don't fat shame me. Go ahead if you want to. I don't care. I can't tell you what to do as much as you can't tell me what to do, okay? Okay, no. Physical wellness is maintaining a healthy body through exercise, nutrition, and self-care. Self-care is a very big topic, but I don't feel that people actually bring it or mention it well. Self-care could be playing that video game that you really like to play or the crossword puzzle. Self-care can be a lot of different things. It doesn't have to just be a physical aspect, but you do want to start trying your best to eat healthier and to treat your body well because one, it's the only one you've got. Okay. 2, your cardiovascular system, your heart system relies on the healthy functions of the rest of your physiological state. What the hell does that mean? You eat well, you'll feel well. You eat shitty, you're going to feel shitty one way or another. Nobody drinks 19 Dr. Peppers, 6 bags of Doritos, 4 fudge browns, and 3 honey buns and says, you know what? I feel great. They don't. But a lot of the times that's because they didn't take care of their emotional wellness. They didn't take care of some of their other wellnesses. And so that's the comfort food. And that's where like eating disorders and all these other things kind of go into play. Well, Jeremiah, if I have that, then there's nothing I can do. I'm just damned to hell. No, not true. But you can start small. Instead of drinking 17 Dr. Peppers, you can drink maybe 2. Or maybe you just don't drink soda. My goodness. And you switch it for something else. You switch to water. I actually have a really dear friend of mine that told me about how he started to cut back on his soda. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like, way to go. I won't say your name, William, but way to go. I stopped drinking Red Bull in November, and I miss it. I miss the taste of sweet tarts. That's what it tastes like to me. I miss it dearly, but okay, it's not good for you. That Red Bull is not good for my cardiovascular system whatsoever. That, and I feel a little bit less anxious. I will give it that. I feel a little bit less anxious from not drinking Red Bull anymore. But making sure maybe you switch out healthy choices, such as switching your chips on Taco Tuesdays for bell peppers. Let's say you're having some enchiladas and you're like, you know what, I don't need the chips, I got bell peppers. Good switch. Maybe working out because the supportive systems around you are not working out and you're like, I feel discouraged, but you continue on otherwise. That's still taking care of your physical wellness. Meditating. So it's not just that, but you do want to make sure that you're taking care of your cardiovascular system. It really kind of runs downstream. It's kind of like when you're fixing your car, taking care of the engine, because if you don't take care of the engine, then nothing else is going to work. Cardiovascular system. It's kind of like another thing that I will mention is brushing your teeth. Now, I have a really bad habit. I know it sounds gross, and I'm sorry, Dr. Clark, but I have a really bad habit of skipping out on brushing my teeth. I know. And I've had to pay for it. And I'm doing better. And I'm trying to do better. Sometimes I don't feel that encouragement. Sometimes I will come up with every excuse, and I don't know why. But here's the thing, is if I don't brush my teeth and I don't floss my teeth, then that plaque that is in my teeth can actually clog up my arteries and can actually, and this is, you can go ahead and fact check me, can actually give you a heart attack. If you don't floss your teeth, it can give you a heart attack because that plaque will actually clog up your system. Boom! Did you not know that? Now you know. Woo! Okay, anyways. Financial wellness. Look, it ain't funny if you ain't got the money and you don't feel well. And whenever bills are due and there's different services that you are getting that you cannot pay for, it doesn't feel so great. You don't have your car, so you can't make those decisions, or maybe you've made some bad financial decisions. Financial wellness is making sure you have the satisfaction with the current and future financial situations. Well, now that's a pretty touchy subject, Jeremiah. I'm not that great with money. I don't have money, and I'm not the greatest with money. Guess what? That's still okay, because there's ways that you can start fixing your financial future. And I have some really great topics on all of these that I'm actually going to hit on. Financial wellness actually goes into all of your aspects of all wellness. Then you have your occupational wellness. I think I'm going to switch the occupational wellness to vocational wellness. Can I do that? Hey, can I do that? Yes, you can do that. Why? Because it's your damn slideshow. I know, it's plain, it's vanilla, but it's just the way I like it. Occupational wellness is personal satisfaction and enrichment for one's work. I love what I do. I love teaching health and wellness. I love being an anger management specialist. I love teaching parenting education. I'm not the perfect parent. I'll tell you more about that on Thursday. I'm not the perfect parent, but I really love discovering together how you can cohabitate with your wonderful little demons, and you can start getting along well together. I'm not the best at it, right? But there's one damn thing I love, and I love what I do. And I didn't know how much I would love what I do until I started to do it, until I got out of that comfort zone. And am I scared shitless for Red Nose Wellness every single freaking day? But guess what? I love it. Find something that you love to do, occupational wellness, and I promise you, from my own experience, you won't regret it, because I don't regret it. And I love this. But personal satisfaction and that enrichment with one's work. If you don't like what you do, you're not going to do a good job. And if you don't do a good job, then the people that you are directly dealing with are going to be affected. And that sucks, because hurt people hurt people. And if you have a bad day because you don't like what you do, because you're not happy with your occupational wellness, then you're going to take it out on other people. And that really, really, really sucks, because if you take it out on other people, then we're just perpetually making this horrible will in our society just continuously run. Nobody's happy with themselves. Nobody's happy with what they do. Nobody's fully satisfied with their well-being. Number one question that I like to love to ask people: if money were not an issue, if you could do anything, what would that be? If you did not have to focus on paying your bills, if you did not have to focus living paycheck to paycheck, if you did not have to count the pennies and dimes in your damn couch, because I've been there too, what would you do? I don't know. I don't know what I like to do, Jeremiah. That's a very complex question. Number one thing we really do as human beings like to do, I don't know if you can read it, but we like to get shit done. I can't tell you exactly what that shit's going to be, but I know that I want to get shit done. And whenever you focus on your occupational wellness, you have to make sure you have that personal satisfaction. It's funny, I started this whole venture full-time in November. And I got fired from my last job. They couldn't tell me fully what I did wrong. They couldn't give me a full reason to such a degree that whenever I asked, well, why are you letting me go? They couldn't give me a clear answer, and they couldn't look me directly in my eyes. And it was looking back now at it, very humorous, but very blessing, because I wasn't happy there. I wasn't happy with a big majority of people I was directly working with, though I love a big majority of the people I worked with. So it was vice versa. But I was not happy. They did me a blessing. They did me a damn good blessing, as my really great friend Daniel would say. They did me a favor. Well, I got out of my comfort zone, and now I get to do this. This is what I get to do. People ask me all the time, well, Jeremiah, what do you do? I'm an anger management specialist. Yeah, really? Where are you an anger management? Oh, a place called Red Nose Wellness. Never serious, always sincere. Never serious, always sincere. Find something you love, and you go do that. Oh, I can't do that right now. Well, find a way to do it. If you cannot do it right now, find a way to do it. I promise you'll be happy. Now, other things in my life could obviously be better, such as social wellness. But social wellness is not just hanging out with the friends. It's not just connecting on social media, though we are gathered today by social media. Social wellness is having a well-developed support system and social connections, yes. But that is also your internal family system. You could be a better husband. You could be a better wife. You could be a better father. That is also your social connections, your social wellness. You could be a better son. You could be a better neighbor. You could be a better friend. It doesn't mean I need to find new friends that accept me. It means sometimes you need to curate with the shit that you've got. And guess what? The friends that are still sticking around you, still putting up with your ass, come on, I know I've got mine. They're a blessing. Well, they don't ever call, and they don't ever send me a message first. It's always me initiating the friendship. So fucking what? I'm sorry, but sometimes other people have so many other things going on in their life that you're not their first priority. That doesn't mean that you're not their friend. It doesn't mean that you can't have some meaningful relationship. It means that they're busy. And sometimes you have to initiate that first contact, and second contact, and third contact, and fourth contact, and fifth contact. And guess what? Okay. It's an occupational hazard of our friendships sometimes. And if it bothers you, you need to have a decent conversation with them and say, hey, I feel that I'm putting in a lot in this friendship, and damn it, I know you're a rascal as much as I'm a rascal, and I'd like for you to reach out to me sometimes and just ask me how my day is. That'd make me feel pretty fulfilled. And if they tell you to go to hell, well, guess what? They're not your friend, because they don't care about your well-being. But you have to give them a chance to say, hey, I'm sorry you feel that way. I've just been really busy. It doesn't mean I don't care for you. We're still friends, right? I didn't know this is a high-maintenance friendship. But curating that. Okay, let's say you don't have that. Let's say that sometimes we find ourselves in a bit of a depression, and we find ourselves stuck in a rut, and we're kind of isolated from the world. Social wellness is, yes, finding people that like to do the things that you do and finding a way to say, hey, can we be friends? You want to be my friend? You do? That's great. From who's gonna do, you can do. No, I'm kidding. I just wanted to do that talking to myself. Hello. All right. So you got your social wellness. What else? Boom. You didn't count it, did you? That was 8. 8. Okay, no, hold on. Go back into it. Go back into it. Oh, come on. Okay, hold on. Well, Kentucky mushrooms. I don't know how it works. Please don't read my emails. Now, all right, getting back to it because I don't need a screen. Pointer, don't need it. Now I get to talk to you directly. When it comes to your 8 dimensions of wellness, there's obviously, don't get into the whole general semantics of it, there is obviously more than 8 dimensions of wellness. That's a good start. As a health and wellness coach, that's actually where I like to start. So this is how we are going to do this exchange. For health and wellness, for going over health and wellness, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to find a topic each week, whether it be spiritual and you find me at a church, or financial and I have a CPA or a financial advisor come join the show and give information, or emotional wellness and I have a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or a therapist or someone of the sort of the field come in and speak on such subjects. That is how we are going to handle this. I am not an expert in anything whatsoever. I'm pretty good at some things, and I'm not the greatest at others. But that's the thing, is in life you have to be okay with that. In life you have to be okay with knowing that you're not always going to be perfect at every single thing you do. And whenever you find yourself in those situations, you say, well, how can I get better? How can I get better at my environmental wellness? What does that even look like? How do I handle myself in such a way that I know how to take care of all my dimensions of wellness? Well, obviously, you just pick it up and you say, run us out of here. No, I'm kidding. My goodness, don't worry, I'm not going to throw a chair like yesterday. I kicked the chair, by the way, yesterday. I didn't throw the chair. In life, you have to take care of some of your dimensions. In life, you have to take care of your well-being. And it starts there, but it also starts with you. That's my kind of call to arms for you. In life, it starts with you. And you have to wake up one morning and you have to say, I want to do better. I want to be better. I want to experience better. I love actually talking about health and wellness. I really do. I'm obviously physical aspect. I still need to get better, but I really do like having these conversations because there's not a lot of platforms. There's not a lot of ways that you can authentically just get it out. Ask your question. Figure it out. How can I be a better me? How can I provide for a better me? How can I provide for a better, best me for those that are stuck and surrounded around me? That's really, at the end of the day, what we're really doing. It's worth a thought. That's my question. That's my advocation, if you will. So, all of that said, I know that I have a few viewers. Does anyone have any questions, comments, gripes, or complaints? I know that yesterday, like I said, it was cut short. The way that I'm going to do these live events is, yes, I'm doing it live, but I'm actually going to cut them in half and I'm going to butcher them with editing, and I'm going to start providing them on my YouTube. And I know Facebook has this new ordeal that their live events are not going to be so, they're not going to save for a long continuous time. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these videos from Facebook and YouTube, I'm going to mash them into one, and I'm going to start providing. This will be the start here for health and wellness, and it'll kind of give that description of health and wellness and anger management. So if you don't watch every week, I wanted to mention this yesterday. If you don't watch every week, that is perfectly fine, because what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to have on the YouTube page where it says anger management, conflict resolution with employer. And you can click that, and it's going to be a video to where you can actually just, how do you deal with your employer if you're having issues with your employer? For health and wellness, it's going to say spiritual wellness. How do you ask whatever spiritual question how do I become okay with myself? Because that can also, yes, that's the emotional wellness, but that can fall into the spiritual wellness. How can I find okayness with myself, within myself? How can I find that stillness? I tried meditating once and I really couldn't do it back. I just, my mind was racing. My mind was racing and racing and racing and racing. How did you manage that? And so I'll actually go over how you can manage your stillness and your wellness within yourself. Parenting education is going to be on Thursday. So Thursdays, I'm going to start sharing the information that I know of and that I've educated myself on parenting education and best practices. I'm also, what I really would like to do is to get a school psychologist to speak on this show. School psychologists, because they do focus more on the schools, but it is a family system. Have a few therapists that's their bag, and they deal with kids, they deal with the psychoeducation of children, and see how that goes. Also, maybe even get a DHS or a CPS worker on here and share the information and maybe distill some of the fear that we've internalized towards certain agencies. No, I'm not a huge advocate either side, but I think that sometimes we need to have a platform to where we can say, well, I have a fear that you might take my kids away, and why, this is XYZ, and how can I prevent that, and or try to devalue my fear towards it, if that makes sense at all. A lot of the times with parenting education, it also is a couple's parenting education. How can you co-parent better with your significant other or your ex-significant other? Anger management, same thing. I'm also going to have how can you talk better to your significant other? How can you reframe your conversations to where you don't just come off as an asshole and they don't just say, well, you called me a bitch and I locked myself in the bathroom and cried, and now the marriage is over. It's like, before you have to go to marriage counseling. I don't do that here. Not a therapist. Woohoo! And there is a few other specialists in their field that I'm curious of where he's going to have a grand opening, but different types of wellness, different types of aspects of your life. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. My goodness. I think that's it. It's weird. Okay, I will break the fourth wall real quick. I'm so used to doing Terrific Tuesday on Tuesdays that this will be the first Tuesday since last week I ended my Terrific Tuesdays. This will be the first week I stopped intentionally doing Terrific Tuesday. And I have to say that I would feel off if I did not wear my Terrific Tuesday shirt. I think that's going to be like the small little hint. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then just go through my YouTube and you'll be like, oh my God, this guy's weirder than I thought. And I'll be like, watch it. All right. If you have any questions, comments, scratch, or complaints, please put them in the comments. I will respond to them. If you don't feel comfortable asking a question in any of the comments, then what I do ask is that you can email me at rednosewellness@outlook.com, or you can text or text me your question at 918-933-0905. All right, you beautiful souls. I'm Addie like a Scouty. Thank you so much for being fantastic. This is Health and Wellness with Jeremiah Callihan and with Red Nose Wellness. This is like take two. I like it. All right. Woo! Yeah. Yeah, I can do that better. Oh, hit my projector. All right, crazy kids. Bye. Boom.